I hear a lot of videos or see a lot of titles of videos about how um, males will feel about women that they don't desire, and a lot of hate videos. So I wanted to do a video about the most unromantic men that are around. So you have the stalker. You could be somebody he may take a liking to, but you're not interested in him, and he's persistent about getting your attention, so he'll do whatever to get your attention even if you're not looking for it. So you could be going to work or you could be going to school, and he's constantly following you, and he's following you around wherever you go, and it's not something you're interested in. So he stalks you, and he might even do things that might be even dangerous. Then you have males who they just look at you as someone to have babies. So the baby maker, he wants you to be motherly and have a lot of children, but this is so unromantic because now you can't work, you can't go to school, and that's probably the reason why he keeps you knocked up, because he doesn't want you to advance in life. He wants you to stay home and stay in the kitchen and stay barefoot and pregnant. And then you have the germ carrier, and he's got STDs, he's got a promiscuous lifestyle, he has a bunch of girlfriends, and who knows what else he's got. And he doesn't tell you or disclose to you his sexual history. But he wants to know everything about you, but he won't tell you anything about who he slept with. He wants to know who you slept with. He wants to grill you and 2020 question you. And chances are, most women, they end up getting something from a male who doesn't tell them. A lot of times, women are in relationships thinking that, okay, I'm going to be faithful to this one guy. He winds up giving her something, and he doesn't talk about it. And then when she discloses what he's done, he points the blame to her as if it were her fault. Then you have a liar. That would almost be in line with the person that has a disease, or he's carrying germs, or he's lying. He could be lying about a number of things: who he's had sex with, if he's monogamous, if he's about having a genuine relationship with you that's trustworthy. He could be lying about a lot of things. He could be lying about his name and who he is, his background, his history. He could be a criminal, anything. And a lot of times they may not even tell you that they have a wife and other kids in another country, or they have another family, they owe child support, and then they make everything sound good so they can get to learn about you, and then you get hooked up with them and find out they've got a past. So you have some guys who they want to fit in with another culture that isn't of their own. Particularly, you find this with African American males who have a complex about being darker skin, or all of the things that have happened throughout history, like systemic racism and things like that. So you'll have interracial marriages that are wholesome, but then you have some of these interracial marriages that are experiments. And for them, they just want to fit into another culture and assimilate to white culture and act as if they are white themselves when they're not. So you also have jailbirds, men who they're in and out for a season. One minute he's in and the next minute he's out. He wants you to marry him so you can go on conjugal visits, so it's all based on sex and what you can give him. He wants you to write him letters, and then he'll get like somebody in jail to write letters for him to make them sound like really, poetic. And then you have insecure males who all they do is brag about how they perform in bed. And a lot of times, beware of this, ladies, because when men brag a lot about what they can do for you sexually, they lack in other areas that are probably a lot more important than sexual performance. And chances are they have a history of doing this with other women. They could have STDs, and maybe they lack a lot of other areas in character. Work bullies, perverts, cheaters. They cheat on their wives. So they're married men who they go to work and they see other women there, and they feel like this is an easy picking ground. So they try to cheat, and they try to think that they're sly by cheating. So they get a coworker that maybe some woman who's lonely or she's gullible and she falls for the bait, and then some of them will tell you they're married. They think that's a turn on. Then you got guys who brag about their anatomy. They're going through a midlife crisis, so they feel like bragging about their anatomy will win them some brownie points with women. And usually you'll get older men who'll try to pick up young women. But sometimes you'll get women who they're not looking at so much the anatomy, it's your wallet. If you're old and they feel like, oh, whatever, he can just pay my bills, or he can spend money on me and wine and dine me. And then you have males who compare black women to white females or females who are not black, and they'll have a family and get married to them and get them pregnant, and then they'll brag about how lovely their families are, but they wind up leaving these females just like they would black females. And then you have black men that will, some of them, that will compare white women to black females. They talk about black females' weaves, their braids, and how they look, and they look too black, but then they have a white female or a female who isn't black wearing styles that emulate black culture. She totally immerses herself in the black culture, but she doesn't actually go through the black struggle of what it's like being a black woman and going through the problems that you have within your own culture as a black female, and having to deal with, knuckleheads and people putting you down and less pay, and then you're compared to white women and you're compared to gay people, because this black man is down low or whatever. He's not being honest about his sexual preferences, or he's dating other women that aren't all black, and comparing you. But then when you turn around and find someone of another race or background, you're bashed for it, you're threatened, you get dirty looks because you've chosen to maybe step outside the box. And you want to go into a relationship with someone who isn't black, and you might have the intentions of going into the relationship because you really want to have something genuine. Now, some of these relationships work and some of them don't. It's not to say that these men don't have issues as well, because you'll find that there'll be other men of other cultures that will participate in woman bashing and misogynistic ways, and sometimes they can carry all these characteristics. It's flipped where they do it to women of their culture. So you'll have cheaters. They could be like really educated males, and they have high positions and they're in high places, but they have this cheating spirit. So they go online and they cheat, and they think because they're online and they haven't actually met the person, it's in their mind. They're forming these thoughts of going out and cheating on their spouses, girlfriends, wives, or whatever. And some people don't even feel like, if it's a girlfriend, if they're not married, they feel like, oh, it's not even cheating, I'm not even married, I don't have any ring on my finger, so she doesn't own me. But if she goes out and decides to see someone else, all H breaks loose. So you have woman haters that are online and offline, and these come in any color, shape, form, size. There are men that just all day long, they get online, they've posted videos, they talk about, oh, you're not wife material, I'm not wifing you up. And then you even have women who agree with these comments because they're so desperate to have a relationship with a man, they'll follow all of this crazy male misogynistic BS. So girls want attention. Like I said, you'll have women who, they're not really women, they act like girls, but women want respect. So there's a lack of respect for genuine good females who want some real respectful relationships and some true kindness and romance and monogamy. Then you have people who are political agitators, where they use misogyny in politics to bully women. So they'll agree with laws, and then they walk around, and that's how they pick their women. They want you to agree with religious beliefs and laws that pretty much stigmatize women, or they entrap women and make you listen or have to bow down beneath male patriarchic values. So is a good example right here. So we have all that going on in the news, and that may be the indicator as to why Hillary Clinton wasn't picked as well as a potential candidate. Yes, that was historical, but she wasn't the first pick. It was, let's take the male over the female. So you have wife beaters, other losers, of course, oversexed men, arguers, OCD people, maniacs, porn freaks, and the parole officer, and lazy men who don't want to help you pay the bills. They want to lay up and eat your food, and they don't want to take care of their families and their wife or spouses. They want you to take care of them. And so these men are not husband material. So they always rant and rave about how women aren't wife material, and you have crazy women that are just desperate for the D, or they're just desperate for a man around. It doesn't matter if he's unproductive, a loser. It's just to have somebody with a pulse breathing around, but he's like eating up your food, you know, causing you problems, probably giving you a disease. He's not faithful, but just so you can say you got a man. It's not worth it, ladies. It isn't. You know, you could do a lot better than to be with somebody not only unromantic. You know, you need to be with someone who is genuine, somebody who's kind, who respects you, who really does care about you and loves you. And if they care about you, they're not going to beat the crap out of you.